Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Have You Ever Played podcast, the only podcast that is a puzzle game and an action JRPG. I'm Matt, aka Matt Fondude, and I panicked during the intro. And who are you?
I'm James, aka James O4E.
Why? I don't. Why did you read it so slow?
Because you said
I,
played funny.
I don't know. I had a
You
weird. I
said,
had a hard time thinking of a video game related intro, and I was looking at the questions. I saw puzzle game mechanics, and I
oh
and I
my
froze.
god,
Okay,
man.
and they can't all be winners.
Indeed, they
Um,
can't all be winners.
Anyway, welcome to the podcast. I'm going to mention at the beginning this time, because I always mention it at the end. But if you have any questions to send us, send them to hyeppodcast at gmail.com. That's hyeppodcast at gmail.com. We'll answer your questions. We have a list of questions that we usually answer toward the end of the show. But I figure it's good to announce the email at the beginning when probably the most people are still tuned in if they survived
Yes.
the intro. Um,
Survive.
yeah. But anyway, James, so this is our pre-Christmas, pre-holiday podcast, basically. Um,
Yes.
so we're gonna have to talk about any festivities or any kind of holiday winter memories maybe in gaming, some holiday games you may play around this time. I don't know, we can talk about any of that kind of stuff. But
hmm
before we do that, let's get a little bit into weeks. Maybe we could do like a really short week recap of us both, and then we'll talk about some more holiday related things. James,
Sure.
what have you been up to this week?
Yeah, I played more of a predecessor, that MOBA I got into last week. Yeah, I found out it kind of sucked. Third person MOBAs, not a great perspective from MOBAs overall. It's
It
not.
seems hard for any MOBA game like that isn't the traditional top down to be that complicated. Like the third person action is cool. It's just way harder to make characters that are interesting and different in that
Yeah, yeah, I think the characters kind of felt bland. I also think that the third person perspective just isn't it for MOBAs because like it makes last hitting weird. It's really hard to like. It's really awkward to look at your map because you have to look away from like your cursor and things like that. It's really bizarre.
mhm. And
Um,
for this
but
was the
yeah,
mod game, right? That this was the
yeah,
yeah. For people who didn't listen last week, this is like a MOBA that went under, like, and the developers
hmm
like gave people the source code or something. So
yeah,
there's multiple modded versions of the game.
hmm
And you're saying it's not very fun anymore.
yeah. It just kind of got boring. I think
Hmm.
man, it was a combination of a lot of things, but at its core, it was just a perspective. I think like maybe lack of a ranked mode made it boring. Maybe it didn't. I can't really tell. I played the game's equivalent to top lane. It just kind of felt like the enemy jungler would just sit at the side of my lane and just stare at me the whole time, and my jungler would be like across the map. And it's like, oh, okay, fun. I'd still win the lane, but then like even though I won, I think maybe like 90% of my game something insane. It just didn't feel that like it didn't feel that fun after a while. It
Hmm.
just felt like it just felt weird. Yeah, and the funny thing is I've played Smite, and Smite they have like arena and skirmish mode, which is arena is just 3v3, basically without any creeps at all. There's jungle creeps, so nobody really hits them. It's just like it's literally like a gladiator arena. You just kind of level up fast, you get gold really fast, and you just kind of fight. And that's fun. Actually, now I think about it, maybe it does have creeps. It's just there's nobody hits them because it's pointless.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean that like using the third person mobile format for just like an arena mode or something is fine, I think. And then they have skirmish, which is like it's 3v3 as well, but it's only one lane. So it's kind of like yeah. I also think in Smite, I think you get gold in Smite just from creeps dying near you. I don't think you have to last hit them. And
Hmm.
I think that was a big thing that felt really bad in Predecessor was last hitting, just because not all characters had cleaving auto attacks. So if you're trying to last hit a creep that's let's say like a creep in the middle of two other creeps, and you're trying to last hit it, you have to put yourself in a really weird position. Like you have to go right up the middle to hit it. You can't hit it from the sides because if you hit it from the sides, the other creeps would just block the attack.
Hmm. I feel like last hitting is uh mainly like a Dota thing, and then in most other MMOs, they didn't have that mechanic for the most part. So that is interesting
Um,
that they would have last hitting in a third person MMO.
yeah, I know League has it. And
I
I
thought
can't.
League didn't have it.
No, League does have it. League doesn't have denying. That's what
Are
it
you
is.
sure League has last hitting too, or am
Yeah.
I? I don't know. I mean, maybe I don't play enough MOBAs. I really do not.
Um, but yeah, I think Heroes of the Storm did it similarly to Smite, where you don't have to get the actual last hit.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah. Uh, what else? Yeah, predecessor, pretty wonky.
Into the trash can. Put it
Yeah,
into the garbage bag. Throw it out. I'm sure it's fine, but again, it's one of those
yeah,
things. Like, were you really gonna like play that game forever? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Like
was that gonna be your next game?
yeah, it might be like a fun game to just like try out with some friends. I hope they add like different game modes, like ideally an arena mode like Smite has. Because when I played quite a bit of Smite back in the day, like back in the days, in like 4 years ago. But
Hmm.
um, yeah, I played quite a bit of Smite, and I mostly played arena and skirmish. I wasn't really interested in the full on MOBA mode, and it was pretty fun, I think. And I think the kits transitioned to those modes pretty well too. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if that would work with predecessor. Predecessor, as I think I said last podcast, they have this weird thing going on where almost all the characters can jungle. So like you'll just have an ability on your character, and you look at it and like, what, this is a jungling ability. Like what am I? I don't use this.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, weird hybridization of all characters could like have like some homogenized kind of cast.
yeah. I think what's especially weird is all the top laners, they're also junglers. There's no character that's like just a top laner. So
Hmm.
like at any point you're at risk of your jungler taking your character.
Yeah, yeah, that's really bizarre. Like again, I don't know how much of that was in the original game design and how much of that was like determined by the team that like reworked the game. As you said, there's two
Yeah.
versions currently.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess moving on from dead game LMAFAO. I don't know the band. That was a horrible transition. Oh my
Yeah, that
god.
was
What
pretty
am, I
bad.
don't know why my transitions and intros today. I have like brain fog, and I apologize in advance.
Yeah.
Um. Anyway, James, what else have you been playing?
Yeah, I've also played a bit of Dota. There was a new patch. It was actually kind of funny because there was a tournament going on last week. And right before so they played the first round of the upper bracket of the tournament, and right before the first round of the lower bracket, literally 4 hours before it started, they dropped a major patch. Like
That
I'm
sucks.
talking like new items, characters being like heavily buffed and nerfed, like changes to objectives and stuff, like whole classic Dota patch, like 20 pages.
Oh my god. Was
So,
that so? Was this tournament like it wasn't officially sanctioned or anything, or wasn't like affiliated? So.
so how it goes now, Valve used to, until last year, Valve had like a pro circuit that they ran themselves, and they would basically like give they would give organizers a stipend pretty much for the prize pool, and the organizers in exchange they would organize the event, and they would also organize like the leagues basically that lead up to the events for qualification. And Valve basically said like, yeah, we don't really want to do that anymore because it was kind of hurting independent tournament organizers that didn't have our blessing. So what's basically happening now is, I don't know if you know ESL. I know they run a lot of esports tournaments,
Mhm.
and they're kind of the primary people running tournaments right now. And then there's a bunch of other what are they called? I guess tournament organizers that are like running like smaller things. But ESL is like the big one. They do like the $1 million tournaments and stuff like that. So this was like the first one of the year. It was just like $1 million prize pool. But yeah, like imagine, and this tournament was in Malaysia, so
Mhm.
that's why like it was especially bad because the lower bracket, I think the game started at like 11 a.m. Like imagine waking up at 7 a.m. doing your morning routine. One of your teammates tells you like, hey, they dropped a patch. All of our preparation for this elimination game kind of goes out the window.
That's so wild. Like I mean, I would have to imagine that someone on the team was aware that this was happening. Like
Hmm.
the Dota team. Now I'm wondering if they were either unaware completely and were like, okay, like we're dropping this, or if they were aware and they're like, well, we have a production calendar and we this is the deadline, like this is when it's going up. We can't cater to this random event. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
Um.
the funny thing is, I'm pretty sure they were aware, because
Mhm.
Dota usually does advertisement for events, sometimes in client. Uh, but the thing is, this event was also tied to their Christmas event, or this patch was also tied to their Christmas event, which they had already delayed. Obviously, this patch came out on like the 14th or something. Actually, no, it might have been like the 15th. I don't know. Like last Thursday or something like that. So yeah, the 14th. Um, and people had been waiting a really long time for it. So this was kind of their last, like, we got to get this out before Christmas kind of thing.
Oh yeah,
Um,
they'll be a little late if they
yeah,
didn't get it out this week.
yeah. So it was kind of fun. So they kind of had to. I'm assuming they just dropped it as soon as it was ready, effectively. Um, and also it was the post. It was the first major patch after the international, so obviously people were complaining, "Oh, the meta sucks."
Of course.
Yeah.
That is
Uh,
wild though that they would just drop. I mean, it makes sense in a way, but
mhm.
like just imagine that applied to like regular sports, and maybe there's examples because I don't really follow any regular sports, but it's just like so if you're playing basketball, it's like, oh yeah, new ball just dropped.
New ball,
It's a square now.
new
It's a square
patch.
now. Good luck. Yeah, new patch. Uh, the hoop is
Man.
now an oval. New patch. Good luck. Just bizarre.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, the patch
well,
itself
yeah.
was cool. The
Mhm.
event is okay. So Dota does weird things with events usually. Sometimes they have new modes, sometimes they don't. In this case, it didn't really have a new mode. What it is by playing the game, you earn chests, which they, Dota is a little bit different than loot boxes because they actually show you what's in it exactly. And as you like when you open it, it shows you what's like going away, essentially like what you lose the chance of getting as you go through until it's just one thing left. Um, so yeah, by playing the game, you get chests, and then you have to buy keys with like actual currency. Because in the keys just open the chests basically, and
Mhm.
they have a bunch of cool stuff in the menu where it's like every day they have a new I don't know how to describe it. Like Dota has their own like Christmas lore, like it's called Frostivus, and I guess they have like little poems and like characters that go with them. Like I could open the client right now and like just say which one is for today, but they're goofy.
So it's like an advent calendar kind of deal leading up
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
holidays.
yeah, pretty much.
Bizarre, but interesting. That's fun. That's
Um,
a fun little. So everyone gets. Is it? Do you have to pay for anything, or is it? Do you get like loot per day or something like that?
so you get it per day, and you have to pay for the key to open up the chest.
Oh, that's
Uh,
a little less fun, but still.
yes. Okay. So I've opened the client. So it says apparently this is King Kringle.
Of
Um,
course, yes. King
and it
Kringle, as
says
you
when
will.
up on the roof with a house-shaking thud, a creature has landed and sniffed for our blood. A sword could be heard being dragged across the shingles. Then the chimney exploded, and in came King Kringle. Wow.
Is that like the skin? Is there a skin like
Oh
a
yeah, there's
King
a skin with
Kringle
it. It's a
skin?
it's a skin for Race King.
Oh, there. That makes
You know,
sense. There you
the
go.
the artist formerly known as Skeleton King TM.
Oh, I love when I was just thinking about the when you talked about Smite, how I would play Cool Cool Khan or whatever,
Oh yeah, I remember
and
him.
is it Ao Quan? Which one is the current one that's a dragon? Because they swapped the characters at one
I
point.
don't I don't remember.
I think it was all right. They like took a character. I think it was Ao Quan became a different character because there's like a lore conflict. Um,
Yeah,
it's just weird. And also Cassidy in Overwatch. We love a good name change on a
man.
character.
Hmm.
Um.
Okay, but one more thing about this event actually. You might have heard about this actually, in fact. So when
Mhm.
you open the client for the first time on this event, everybody gets a present that is
Mhm.
wrapped. You can't see what's inside of it. And so if you have been good, i.e., if your behavior score is high, you will get a Christmas themed cosmetic. It's usually just a like I can even check what I got. I think it's just a standard like you know common maybe rare cosmetic. It's nothing too special. I think it has a chance to be something better, but I just got a kind of basic shitty one. Um, but if you have not been good, you get a piece of coal that tells you that you're permanently banned from Dota 2.
I know. I saw
Yes.
this. Technically, it's not a permanent ban. It's like a 24-year ban or something.
Yeah, you're banned until like 2038. Just like
Yeah,
they
it's
can
not
say, well, we
permanent.
didn't permanently ban you. Like, calm
Um,
down a little bit there, buddy. You'll be able to play eventually.
yeah. Did you see the clip of the streamer or
Yes.
someone who was streaming the game and they just open it up?
Yeah,
Oh my god,
he deserved it. He's a very toxic and horrible person.
it's so funny.
Yeah. Apparently he made a new account. Like, and he has to
Hmm.
start from like just a base account, so none of his cosmetics are available or anything, and his MMR is reset.
The horror. Imagine.
Um, but yeah, apparently the specific reason why he got banned, they were mostly targeting Smurfs and account buyers with this. And the reason he got banned exactly is because his behavior score was so low that he couldn't find games in his like high tier games because he's a former professional player. So
Hmm.
he had somebody get on his account and boost his behavior score. Could you imagine? Like
That's so
there are people
funny.
paying to get like their MMR boosted. This guy's getting paying somebody to be nice on his account.
Imagine the games with that when they were trying to farm, just like how toxically positive they were. They'd just be like, nice try, good try,
Yeah.
everyone. Good try, good half, smiley face.
Oh
Everyone,
man.
let's have a good game. Let's have fun, smiley face. Colon D, cat face. Just like the most toxic, unintentionally toxic person by being
Yeah.
so nice. It, oh man. That is wild. Big
Hmm.
ups to Valve for doing one of the funnier ban waves in
Hmm.
gaming. Um, that's yeah, that's very funny.
Yeah.
Speaking of games with interesting monetization and Christmas events,
Oh no.
getting into my week a little bit. So Overwatch 2. It's a game that's my toxic trait of a game that I've been playing. Um, they're doing their big money. We want money Christmas event right now,
Hmm.
and I think they kind of want to get those numbers up because they're releasing a Mercy skin,
Oh, okay.
the jingle like the holiday Mercy skin.
And they're getting serious now.
So this skin was seen in concept art a while ago. I think like 2 Christmases ago or something like that.
Hmm.
And everyone was like, "Make it a skin. When is that coming to the game?" And they made it a skin. So I don't think it has dropped yet. I don't think you can buy it yet. And honestly, I'm probably going to buy it because it is actually a very nice skin. And I have Witch Mercy. I haven't bought a Mercy skin in a hot minute, and you know what? It's a cool skin. But at the same time, they're about to make bank because everyone's gonna buy that skin because
Yeah.
it's gonna be the skin.
Man, I remember
Um,
when the Witch Mercy skin first came out. The internet was set ablaze.
mhm. Another thing right now they're experimenting with that's a little. This is the more toxic thing. That's just a classic $20 skin in a video game, which is already kind of bad. But so they have a battle pass, as you know, but they
Hmm.
are introducing the concept of a second mini battle pass.
Oh my god.
Um, so I just bought the second mini battle pass the other day. It is $5. It is
Okay.
for the winter event. There is a plebeian. There's a peasant tier. If you're free, you get some
God.
tickets during the event. Um, and the way it's structured is you'll get tickets with every tier of the battle pass basically that you complete, and you can spend those tickets on skins, uh victory poses, stickers, etc. So
Hmm.
the controversy currently is that if you buy the battle pass, like the second jingle pass or whatever, and do all of the ticket events, there's not enough tickets to buy everything.
I see.
So you need to pick what you want from this, and it's kind of okay because there is value. It's $5, and there's like I think four or skins available, and they're actually pretty nice. One of them
Hmm.
is a skin for Widowmaker that was in like Overwatch 1. It's like the StarCraft skin that hasn't been
Hmm.
available for a while. It's very sought after, so it's good they brought that back. Then it's two formal wear skins, and then a funny like Reinhardt made of boxes skin, like Christmas boxes. Very fun skin.
Hmm.
Um, but the problem is, if you're like, oh, I have my FOMO, you can't get everything. Like, there's no way to get everything at the moment, and people are upset about
Mm.
that because it's like, okay, you're already now introducing secondary battle passes, and now we can't even get everything if we complete it. So it's a little weird. I think they're experimenting with stuff. They're trying to figure out, you know, what people want to spend money on and what people are, going
Mhm.
after in order, maybe like ranked choice voting in terms of like seeing what people want out of these skins, like which skins are most popular, maybe like if charms are popular, if anyone cares about sprays or anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe after the battle pass is over, they'll give you all the cosmetics you didn't buy if you were nice.
Nah, probably not. If maybe by being nice, if you pay like $20 for a bundle, maybe. Um,
Man.
but another thing they did was so there is well, they brought all the winter game modes back, and those are kind of fun to play. I've been playing some of them. They're a little terrible.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah,
one of those things, like arcade in Overwatch is fun for like 2 matches, and then if you have to grind it, it's like these are so awful.
yeah. I gotta say, seasonal modes in live service games don't actually have that great of a reputation.
Hmm.
I feel like on average, like they end up being kind of bad.
Well, I think Overwatch 1 peaked, like, and they're still bringing back those game modes from Overwatch
Yeah,
1, but like Overwatch 1 had Lucio Ball the first time, everyone went crazy, and that was actually fun. And then they had like the Junkenstein event, that was fun.
yeah.
But the
I
problem
think
is
the
all
problem is
future events have been kind of lame.
I think the problem is almost always that they bring the modes back because I think
Hmm.
they're always fun the first time, and then like after a week of playing them, you're like, yeah, I'll move on a little bit, and then they bring them
Well,
back for the second year. And it's like, oh,
I think the biggest problem is they bring them back and then they tie a reward behind them that it's like get 35 wins in May Snowball Fight to unlock this win, to unlock this charm or whatever. And I'm like, well, I'm probably never going to use this, but I want it. So I guess I'll grind out 35 matches and not really have fun.
hmm.
Um, or the same what happened with the recent like Mauga game mode. They did like some sort of event where it was like PvE PvPs thing. I played
Hmm.
one match of it and was like, this just is gonna suck. Like this is terrible. I'm like, I just did not touch it. It was like win a bunch of matches to unlock skins, but I'm like, this is egregiously terrible. Anyway,
Hmm.
that's Overwatch 2. We don't have to talk about that anymore. The other thing I wanted to talk about before we start talking about our holiday memories and other stuff is I got Hogwarts Legacy on sale. It's
Hmm.
the Harry Potter Wizarding World game.
Yes.
Um, I would like to give it a good review. The problem is the game runs like garbage on my computer.
But I actually think you talked
Um,
about this last week.
I think I did too. It just is bad. Or maybe I think I did talk about this, so I will just
Hmm.
briefly mention again. I reinstalled the game. I think I told people I uninstalled it last time. I reinstalled it. I tried to like clear shaders and change settings in Nvidia control panel, a bunch of stuff.
Hmm.
The game is mostly playable right now, but I had to lower the difficulty from hard to normal because I was fighting 4 wizards in a duel, and the game would lag so often that I would have to. It was like Dark Souls style combat where it was like reaction time, dodging and stuff, but the game
Hmm.
would lag and I would just die over and over again because it
I
would
see.
fully freeze. The game would fully freeze for seconds while and then I would like resume the game and I would already be dead. I'm like, okay. So I need to lower the difficulty due to the fact that I cannot really enjoy any combat in the game. So that has been my experience with this video game, which
Yeah.
is not great to be honest. It kind of puts a damper on every other aspect of the game. Um James, have you ever run into a game that just either you've tried to like brute force through it, like did not run good at all, but you tried to like brute force through it? Um,
Yeah. A few times.
like, what do you have an example of a game that was just maybe this would be like more younger years when we had like underpowered like laptops and we were trying to run like Grand Theft Auto or something at the time, you know, like that
Blacklight
kind of stuff.
Retribution.
Oh, I forgot about
I
that
I
game.
heard that was a great game, but I literally got 20 frames.
Was that a
Literally
Nexon
20
published
frames.
game?
I don't remember.
Wait, or was that? Wait, am I thinking of? I think I'm thinking of a different thing. I'm gonna look this up. Blacklight. Was that the shooter like game that was like an arena
It
shootery?
was like the arena shooter with like the glitch grenade that made your screen like bug out or whatever.
Okay, yeah, I see this game. It wasn't Nexon. I'm thinking of something else
Yeah,
then.
it was the sequel to Blacklight Tango Down, which
I
was
think
on
I did
Xbox
play
Live
this
Arcade.
at one point, and it was like, oh, this is like the game. This is the. Did it have a weird zombie? Is this one with dinosaurs?
I
What am I
think it had
thinking
a
of?
zombie mode.
I'm thinking of someone will probably know what I'm talking about. There was some other game that had like dinosaurs or something as like a mode or like a zombie mode. I
Yeah,
don't remember.
it's kind of sad. It got shut down on PC, but it's still you can still play it on PS4.
Hmm. Um, I also like couldn't run Black Desert Online when that came out. That was a game I was looking forward to. I
Yeah,
also
Black
Witcher
Desert.
3. That was like tough. It did not run on my
Yeah,
computer. Um, yeah, I don't know. That is always the worst feeling in the entire world where you buy a game and it there is levels of acceptability. Like when I before I got my graphics card updated, I did play through God of War and it ran at 60 for the most part. It would dip in some areas, but it was a dip in a way where the game would just slow down to like 40 or 5 FPS. And but it wasn't like unplayable. It was just kind of like, oh well, it's not the greatest thing in the world. Um when a game stutters, when it locks hard locks, no matter what graphic settings are on, and it's usually an optimization issue. It is so upsetting because that means
yeah,
like, well, I'm probably not going to play this game for like 5 years until I get a new upgraded PC part
man.
or they optimize it. It's just I have games like that where I buy them and sometimes like, well, I like Red Dead 2 when I bought that on PC, the PC version. I got it on sale and I'm like, all right, maybe in a couple of years I'll play this when I can like destroy it. You know what I mean? Like a few hardware
Hmm.
generations down the line. Um, but yeah, that was basically my week. So James, Christmas and or holidays. Let's get the ball rolling. Was there ever like a gift you got, like a game? We might have even talked about this in another Christmas related episode.
Mayhaps.
Um, but was there ever like a gift that you got particularly that you really enjoyed, like a gaming memory?
I remember when I got my Wii,
Mm.
and that was really cool because I mean back then all I played was like Guitar Hero.
Hmm.
Uh, or actually no. So I got my Wii, and that was when I started playing Guitar Hero because I think I got it with Guitar Hero, and then I discovered Wii Sports, and that was my awakening as a child.
Oh,
Uh,
did your Wii not come with Wii Sports?
no, it did, but I just didn't like.
You
I
just
only
didn't
played Guitar
understand.
Hero.
Fair enough.
I only played Guitar Hero. So one day I looked at the menu. I'm like, wait, there's other games. I can do things besides Guitar Hero.
That's wild
Uh,
because like I do kind of see where you're coming from though because Wii Sports did come in like a plastic sleeve in the game, like in the Wii box. So I
mhm.
could see how, or it was like one of those like paper sleeves that like sucked. So
Yeah,
I could see how you'd be like, oh, what is this? Just like throw it away.
yeah, and I think I also had. I think I also my parents also got me. So they got me Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 3. But so before that, the only gaming consoles I had a PS2 and a GameCube. And so I think my mom got it for me for PS2, and then my aunt got it for me for Wii because she knew my mom was getting me a Wii. And so we were like, okay, well, we have to return one, and they ended up returning the PS2 version. I was like, no, I wanted the PS2 version because the Wii version you had to use the like Wii nunchucks, and it was kind of shit. But yeah, I think I don't even think you could use like a GameCube controller for it,
Oh, probably not.
but yeah, I don't know. I ended up playing that game a lot, but it was always on the Wii nunchucks. It's kind of eh. But yeah, Wii was fun. I also eventually got a Super Smash Bros. Brawl. And that was my first Smash game. Probably a
Hmm.
bad first Smash game, honestly. But uh,
Nah, I think as a
yeah,
kid though, like it's probably I remember for Brawl, I was excited for Brawl to come out and I had played Super Smash Brothers N64 at a dentist office. For some reason that was
hmm
a thing.
Yeah,
Uh, a lot of dentist office aimed at children had like N64 kiosks and stuff in
I think
them.
they still do. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
But I remember playing it there, being like, "Oh, what is this?" And then Brawl was about to come out, so I got Melee,
Hmm.
and I played Melee in anticipation of Brawl, and then I made the greatest trade deal of all time and traded in Melee for Brawl. Um, a
Hmm.
decision that would haunt me until I later got a copy of Melee later in life.
Yeah.
Just a terrible trade decision. Um,
Yeah.
but but Brawl single player mode, the subspace, that made it worth it for sure. I think that
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
great
That was
way
pretty
to play
cool.
the game.
I remember the Rayquaza boss fight.
Hmm.
Man, that was wacky. It was really weird because Rayquaza wasn't an actual playable character, so it was just flying around your screen. You're like, what the fuck?
I think Brawl as a game now, like it's not fun to play like multiplayer in terms of fighting each other, but as a kid playing I mean, I also didn't really have people to verse, and I didn't have online at
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah. I would
So
just play
all the
against my
single player
brother.
content was great.
Hmm. Yeah. Then what else? I also remember I would so I would only play with my brother, and I remember one day I tried Meta Knight, and I got my ass beat on it multiple times. I was like, this character feels like shit.
Oh
And
god.
then it wasn't until like 10 years later where I found out, wait, Meta Knight was broken the whole time.
I think I think I have vague memories of like if I rarely played video games with my parents at all. I think my
Hmm.
dad played with me at one point. I think he played Meta Knight and would just like be good. Or he played like Snake and like Meta Knight or something. Just
Hmm.
cuz like, oh, look at these characters, which is just funny cuz they're like actually good in those games, but
Yeah.
um yeah, it is funny teaching like playing Smash, trying to the barrier to entry of Smash is just if you can teach the person that up and B is a recovery move,
Hmm.
like that is such a barrier to entry for some people in that
Oh
game.
yeah.
Because I think Mario Kart you can throw on at any event and everyone will get it, but Smash is tough because some people just cannot comprehend the up and B idea for certain characters. Then they end up
Hmm.
playing Kirby or something, but they just can't comprehend it. It's a weird thing. Um, but I have a vivid gaming memory, which I'm getting deja vu. I might have talked about this on a former podcast or just a streamer in general, but I'll
Hmm.
bring it up again. I think one of my clearest video game Christmas memories is getting. It was the Christmas of the DS time. So the DS, I don't know how long the DS was out. I guess we could probably calculate it based on the release date of the games that I'm going to talk about.
Yeah.
But it was Christmas Eve, and being a small child who's annoying, before iPads were invented, I was like, video games. Before you had games on your phone, it was like, where's the games on the DS?
Jeez.
Um, and I remember the Christmas Eve, I was allowed to pick one of two games. Like I had there was two gift presents or something. I was allowed to pick a gift to open,
Hmm.
because I assume in hindsight my parents were probably like, "Oh God, we need to make him be quiet during this dinner event because he's going to be
Make him
annoying
be
and because
quiet.
child." Um, but I opened up the game. It was Super Mario Brothers. Like it was like Mario Partners in Time, like the RPG game, the sequel to Superstar Saga. And
Hmm.
I was like, I loved Superstar Saga, and then getting that sequel, it was just so cool, and I was like so into that. So I played that a ton, and then Christmas Day, I also got Animal Crossing Wild World for the DS, which was like my first foray into that, and that was just like that game just was like so weird because it was like, what is this? Like, what even like is this to someone who's never like everyone's first Animal Crossing game? I think is really like a crazy moment of like I don't have any idea of what to expect with this thing.
What is
Um,
game to he who hath never gamed?
yeah, and it feels like anything is possible in those games. And then once you play one of them, you're like, oh no, I know exactly what is possible. They're all the same, pretty much.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that was like a core memory of those two games specifically, which is interesting because I never actually ended up liking Animal Crossing that much, but Partners in
Hmm.
Time was great. That was a lot of fun. I can't really. I remember getting like Legos and stuff. That was kind of fun as a Christmas gift. Um, But yeah, I can't remember too many video game specific memories except maybe like I think one year I got Sonic and Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games because that was the first. It was the first year that it came out, and then I played it. I'm like, this kind of sucks. It's just kind of mid. Those games
Hmm.
are all very mid. Um, yeah, James, do you have like a favorite gift you've ever received? Like, doesn't have to be gaming. Just like, do you have like a
Um,
something that really stuck out to you?
I mean, shit, it would probably still be the Wii, but if outside of that, I mean, sheesh, it's hard because my standard for gifts is completely different from when I was a kid. So like looking back, I'd look back at something and like this is kind of okay. Like for
Mm-hmm.
example, when I got my PS4, I got it like Christmas 2018, I think.
Mm-hmm. That's not much. That's not really that kid era.
Yeah, it wasn't kid era, but like I got it and I was like, this is so cool, it's a PS4, and then like after a year, I'm like, well, I'm just kind of, I just kind of stopped using it because I played all the single player games I wanted to play, like I played the Spider Mans and the Gods of Wars. So yeah, I finished those, and I was just kind of like, huh, okay. Then I kind of slowly stopped using it, and it was actually kind of funny because the first when I initially got it, obviously I had to go back to college like right after, and
Mm-hmm.
so I thought my mom had assumed I would keep it at home because obviously she didn't want me gaming at college. She probably didn't know I
Yeah.
was using my laptop for gaming. And so I came up with the excuse that I was letting one of my friends borrow it. It's like, yeah, letting a friend borrow a Christmas gift less than a month after you got it, for sure.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. It was actually even funnier because I didn't have a monitor for it at college, so I just had it for like 3 months without a monitor, so I just didn't really get to use it
You couldn't
until
even find. You
yeah
couldn't
until
find
I
anything.
yeah actually no, it was like 2 months maybe without a monitor because I ended up getting a monitor for my birthday because my mom got it for me. But the funny thing is, right before my birthday, I'd already bought a monitor.
Oh, there you go. Now I get two monitors.
Yeah, so I got two monitors, but it was especially funny because I gotten like the kind of shitty one, the
Mm-hmm.
budget one, because obviously I was poor, and my mom got
Mm-hmm.
me like the really good one, and she
Perfect.
didn't know that I had bought the monitor, and she had just kind of heard in passing, I guess, like, oh, I probably need a monitor for this PS4 because the TV that I had in my basement in my house, my brother also used it for his Xbox, so I just wouldn't always be able to use it whenever I wanted.
So
But
I
yeah,
mean that kind of worked out great in the way because now you have the full setup.
yeah. Well, it was actually funny because I technically didn't need two monitors because I had my laptop, so that was always my first monitor. And then like the monitor that I bought was the second one, but it was cool. I got a slightly better monitor. Um, but yeah, and then I think right after I stopped using my PS4 almost fully, it broke. Like it just stopped turning on. Yeah, that was fun. But yeah. Now I get gifts that now I want gifts that'll never break. Like literally just like this year I just want fucking socks.
Yeah,
Like literally I just want
gifts.
all the socks because what happens to my socks is I always put them in the washing machine and dryer. And it's not that I lose them. My brother and my brother doesn't live with us anymore, so not him anymore. But my dad will always steal them. Like I'll be like I'll like be taking their clothes, my parents' clothes out of the laundry and stuff, and I'll just see like these are my socks.
It's so
Why does
funny.
my dad have my socks? And so now I'm just like out of socks. Like I have like 5 pairs of socks and none of them are like long socks. So I'll
Hmm.
like go for a walk or something and I'll just be out in the winter in short socks, in ankle socks. It sucks.
Socks to sock. Okay, it's a skill issue.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I think there is an element of people being like, "Oh, I'm an adult now. Like, I like when I get underwear and socks." I think deep down, everyone kind of wants something fun, or like alcohol if you're into that, or like candy or something. Just like a
Yeah. So,
treat.
so
You,
my
you don't.
thing is
Mhm.
normally those like fun things that I want to buy for myself.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is like, like every I'll ask like, oh, a Steam gift card I guess would be nice for when a cool game comes out or something. But like,
Hmm.
I don't know. I also feel like not as many things come out around the holidays anymore. I feel like it used to be always there would be like 5 games at least coming out in November or something that you'd want for Christmas. And now I feel like it's not as big. Like, obviously there's still plenty of holiday releases like, Like this year there was like Spider-Man 2. Um, crap. Actually, what else besides Spider-Man 2? I'm drawing a blank.
Baldur's Gate 3 Game of the Year. Let's just go down the Game of the Year
When did that come
nominations.
out? I thought that came out like in the summer.
Yeah, it was like early in the. I'm just saying, like, if you just go down the Game of the Year list.
Yeah, but yeah. So generally, not as many games coming out in like that November, or like late mid October to November time period. Um, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's not as much that I want.
there's definitely a dry spell of games. There's definitely not enough games to play. That's the thing. That's the problem with gaming is there's not enough games to play at all times. You know,
Mm. But
I don't have a backlog of like 40,000 games that are I got for like $1 on the Steam sale.
yeah, what's actually kind of funny? I was actually thinking about this recently. Remember when like there'd be a new game everybody was hyped about and it would just be shit? Like I feel like don't get me wrong, it's not like it doesn't happen anymore, but like the degree to which their shit is much more like controlled.
No, there's
Like
still shit. Like they'll come out
like
and just be
yeah,
like, "Oh, this game needs another 3 years to be done,"
yeah,
and
there's
it's
still
also a live
shit, but
service.
like not as shit as like some of them used to be. Like I remember there were some real stinkers when we were teenagers.
I think you're
Like
talking about like movie games and stuff, like when you
yeah,
couldn't really
yeah,
like update a game online as easy, or
yeah,
it was more novel.
yeah. Like there were some that were just like, man, like because I was reading I saw this tweet earlier. It was from like a I think it was one of the build engineers at Respawn, and he was saying like, I don't really feel like we've appreciated like games used to be a fucking train wreck before COVID,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Well,
actually, yeah, they kind of well, not like every game, right? But there was some like that like there were some real bad ones, and they just
I
like
kind of
some just never got better.
I kind of miss some of the. This is rose-colored glasses, and I I kind of in a way miss some of the movie tie-in garbage games because at least some of them were like weird or like TV show tie-in games because like you'd play like a Fairly Odd Parents break into rules on PS2 and
Oh
you're like,
yeah.
what is this? Like, but it was cool to see movies in a weird like what they would try to do. It would be like some like D tier studio making these just bizarre games.
Well, you can always play the Avatar game.
Oh yeah, the new Avatar is that good?
I
Is
don't
that
know.
out? Does
It's
anyone
out.
know?
It's definitely out. I know that for sure. I've gotten so many Twitch ads of that game.
I don't want to play another open world, climb the tower, look at the landscape game. I'm already playing Hogwarts Legacy, which is kind of it's just an open world as well, which I can't even enjoy because of the frame rate issues. But I'm like
Oh
walking
no.
around a giant field, and I'm like, what am I doing in
You're
this?
gonna climb this tower and you're gonna like it.
I think once I can start flying in that game, it'll actually be cool. Although it'll probably lag. Um, but on foot, it is like I'm walking around grass fields, just shooting spiders. I'm like, what is this game? Um, I think Hogwarts Legacy has, from what I've seen, might have one of the worst crafting systems in any game I've played
Oh
in a long
god.
time. Um, it seems to have a crafting system where you can. Well, again, this might be remedied by something, but the crafting system, the way I see it now, is you need to craft healing potions, which are basically like your Estus, but it's more like Bloodborne's vials system
Hmm.
because they're consumable. And to craft them, you need to. I believe eventually I can start conjuring potions in the field. Although it did say like you need to find a safe place to do it, so it might not even be possible. But as at the current moment, what I have to do is go into the very slow menu. It's so slow. Navigate
Hmm.
to the maps page, navigate through the maps page to the Hogwarts map, go through the Hogwarts map to the fast travel locations, click on the like botanical garden, load into the load zone. The game is like freezing now because it's loading in the assets. Get through the door, walk over, harvest a plant. Then the plant will respawn in 10 minutes. This is for the basic plant. So I'm sure
Hmm.
10 minutes in real time. And I'm sure there will be later plants that take longer. Then I go through the load zone, go back on the map, go to the fast travel, go to the potion slab, walk over to the cauldron, click on the cauldron, brew the potion. It takes 30 seconds or something in real time. So you just sit there, you watch it,
Jesus.
and then you get like one healing potion, and then you're like, oh, cool. And then that's crafting in that game. And when I was on a harder difficulty, I would just not use healing. I would just rather die and try to do the fight without healing because
Hmm.
I'm like, oh, I don't want to go craft more. And now that I turned the difficulty down from hard to normal, which is one difficulty jump, the game is literally like baby easy. So
Hmm.
I don't know. It's that is it. I think I would have so much less flaws with that game. Like I think I would have a lot more nice things to say if every 5 seconds in that game the game didn't like freeze, because it's easier to excuse like, okay, I have to walk here, it's kind of boring. But like imagine the worst part of an open world game where you're walking around a field and then that is dragged on time. It's like I'm playing the game on like 1.5 speed because everything takes twice as long because it needs to like
Hmm.
load in. It is not fun. I really hope they fix it. They probably won't though. So that's cool.
Man,
I don't know.
tragic.
I don't know what to do.
Sag.
Um, Actually, one more note about that, and I don't think they listen to this podcast, but I bought someone a copy of Hogwarts Legacy for Switch, which I'm very curious how that port runs because
Oh god.
it's not a cloud version. It is a native version of Hogwarts Legacy that runs on Switch. And apparently, it's pretty decent, except for the hair. I assume because there's like crazy hair and cape physics in the game. So I'm
Hmm.
assuming the hair is static and weird. Anyway, that's a tangent aside. Uh, James, let's talk about more Christmas holidays. I don't know.
Grimace. Uh,
What's your
yeah.
favorite
Let
game to
me think of
play
some
during the
memories.
holidays? Do you have a game that you play?
Game that I play during the holidays. Not necessarily. I mean, so usually, unironically, I just play Dota more often during the holidays because I don't. Since the games go long, right? Like if any small thing were to interrupt me, it's like, well, I just can't play. Like if my
Mm,
parents were to randomly tell me like, hey, I need you to do something, it's like, well, if there's even a chance that I just can't play Dota. So yeah, and also then obviously like work and things like that.
man, I love a good Christmas event in a video game or like holiday. Like Christmas and Halloween are my two favorite like event times for games.
Hmm.
Usually in like skins in certain games or like different stuff. I think MMOs do seasonal events like that pretty well. Uh,
Yeah.
I, I I do kind of get a little warm and fuzzy thinking about like Maple Stories Christmas events. They always used to have a very cozy Christmas events. I also would
Hmm.
spend probably I would spend the modern day V Buck kids equivalent on Nexon coins and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, that was my V Bucks, just Nexon
Yeah.
Karma coin and whatever that was.
Yeah, I remember the Christmas events for it was so I played Adventure Quest Worlds, Dragon Fable, and Mech Quest.
Hmm.
Mech Quest probably played the least. Uh, Adventure Quest Worlds and Fable probably played the most, and Adventure Quest was like I played Adventure Quest first, then I kind of fell off of it because I'm like, wait, Dragon Fable is just like better. They have like better classes and all that stuff, and like I like the art style more, and they do the lore cool. And then Adventure Quest Worlds is like, well, I have friends on that game. Um, but yeah, I remember they would do like Frostvale, which was really fun. They would always have like a new story for it every year too.
Was Adventure Quest Worlds something that like swept through our school or something? Because I also ended
I
up playing that at one point. I
I
think on
don't believe
recommendation.
so. I think it was a nerd thing.
Yeah, well, someone recommended it to me, and then I played it. And was Adventure Quest Worlds the? I know there's multiple Adventure Quest games. Was Worlds the? It was like the in browser Flash kind of one that was more MMO-y. Like there was people.
Yeah, so Adventure Quest World was the MMO. They were all in browser like Flash
Yeah.
ones, but yeah, Adventure Quest Worlds was the MMO.
I play. So what I did was I played that without paying at all for a long
Hmm.
time, and then I bought one thing, and it was like, if you spent like $20, you could get like 15 armor sets that are just better than anything in the entire game. And it would just be like, I felt like I got so overpowered just by like wearing, I put on like anything that I got. And it was just like, oh, now I'm doing like
Yeah,
max damage to everything. Like, what is the, it,
yeah. I don't think I
I'm
ever
the,
spent
yeah.
money on that game actually, just because I couldn't get a hold of my mother's credit card.
I think I had to get some sort of prepaid card, cash card or something because there, yeah,
Yeah.
also no
Oh yeah, the
world I
kind that
was
they would sell
doing
in
that.
stores. Yeah, I know
I'm
what you're
sure.
talking about. Yeah, I remember that. I remember, man. Remember GameStop?
Yeah.
Remember the one that was in
The Mushroom Kingdom.
Hmm.
yeah, I remember that one.
Hmm.
There was some really chill employees there that whenever I would break a disc or something, they would always just give me a replacement for free, and I'm pretty sure that's why they got fired. Or
Oh
I
yeah, you
don't
talked
know
about
for a
this.
fact. I don't know for a fact that they got fired, but I know that they stopped working there one day. Like I just
Yeah, I'm
never
sure.
saw them again.
Tactical. There was a tactical retirement.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah. No. I the GameStop stuff. Like, I can't be. I can wax poetic about GameStop and like, oh my god, nostalgia. Like, I liked getting cartridges and everything. But you know what? Digital. There are definitely negatives of digital downloads.
Yeah.
Um, I, I think the positive. I mean, I think the negatives of digital downloads only affect people who don't want to mod their systems a couple years after release, because while there are stories about like, okay, Sony is banning you from seeing content that you paid for digitally now, or like, oh, the 3DS eShop is going down, which is bad, but it's bad for like archiving of games. But
Hmm.
if there is a file online that you can download and put it onto your custom firmware like 3DS, you can play everything and it's still fine. I just think that I've hit a point where um physical things take up too much space, and you can't. There's a certain
Yeah.
level of things you can collect. You gotta pick one thing. You can't collect like 500 of everything because you just there's nowhere to put anything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean. So I have all of my like old physical discs in like a shelf like to the right of me right now. And every time I look at them, I'm like, wow, there's so much stuff missing, and I realize I just threw away a bunch of them. Or I think my
Mhm.
parents might have, but yeah, like there's maybe 30 things in here, and I know for a fact I had at least like 100.
I'm also saying like, oh man, like, we don't really need physical stuff. As I also fawn over the analog pocket, which is like a device that lets you play pretty much any of your. It doesn't emulate. It like it has hardware that lets you play Game Boy Advance and all that stuff. It's like
Yeah.
I really doubt. I really doubt that I'm going to actually pop in my cartridges that I do have and play them that way. There's so many better ways to play them,
Hmm.
but it's cool. There is an element of like it's cool to have the thing, especially like a
Yeah.
nostalgic thing. I kind of went down that rabbit hole a little bit with Tamagotchi stuff recently. I didn't buy any. I saw this big video iceberg about Tamagotchis, and I was like, oh, I remember that.
Hmm.
I'm not the kind of guy who's nostalgic and be like, oh, let me buy the one of the classic ones that's actually objectively bad because it was the first iteration and it just isn't
Yeah.
anything. I was like, oh, what's the best one? And apparently the best one is the previous generation, not the current one. And
Hmm.
the best Tamagotchi that has the most features and the most fun, they're not in print anymore, so they're like a couple $100 on eBay or something. So it's like, oh well, I guess I'm not getting into that. That's kind of
Hmm.
everything now with collecting. It's like, oh, let me get into vintage game collecting. Oh, they're prohibitively expensive. Guess I'm not getting into
Yeah.
that. Or like I got into like vinyl records, which is a they're cool and I think they hold value in a way, but I think everyone simultaneously got into them, and some of the prices are kind of silly
Hmm.
on these things. But I think there's definitely like a hype culture around collecting things and reselling them, especially with like the Logan Paul Pokemon card stuff. Um,
Yeah.
Pokemon cards are like, I think they were always popular, and they were popular when I was a kid, but they are like bananas right now still.
Hmm.
Have you noticed that in like stores, they have them like locked up, and you can only or get like one at a time, or like I've gone places where I've had people walk in and like say, "Hey, do you have a shipment in yet?" And they're like, "Oh no, we sold them all out this morning when we got them." I'm like, "This is
Yeah.
still relevant?" Like,
Yeah. I haven't been in those like kind of stores for a while, but I remember the last time I was. Yes, I do recall that. Like people
mhm.
asking about like shipments and the Pokemon
Well,
cards
it's not
locked
even
up.
just those kind of like card stores. I'm talking about like going to like a Target or like a Walmart, and they're like locked behind bulletproof glass because they're a hot
Oh wait,
commodity,
actually, yeah, I might know what you mean.
or like Best Buy.
I think I like vaguely last time I was at a Walmart, I think I like vaguely saw it, but I didn't know it was Pokemon cards.
Well, kids probably steal them too, because well,
I
here's
thought it
the
was
deal.
something important.
So I watched this. This is like probably the most cracked out behavior I've seen children do, and I feel bad because I just see the wheels in their head of their future. And it was two kids, and I used to do stuff like this too when I was a kid, but like to see it is tough. It was two kids. They went to a card shop, a local card shop, and I was watching this whole thing go down. Their parents were waiting outside. They gave their kids their Christmas money or birthday money. I think it was birthday money.
Hmm.
And I saw them go in, and they were like, "Oh, can I get this pack? Can I get this pack?" And they would open the pack, and then they would
Oh,
shuffle through it and be like, "Is this worth anything?" to like the person at the store, and they'd be like, "Oh no, no," and then they would be like, "Can I sell these cards that I just opened to? How much can I? If I sold you back all these cards, could I get another pack? Like, how much could I add up?" So they were doing that,
oh
and then
man.
one of them pulled a card that was worth like $30. So they pulled a card, and it was like, "Oh, this is worth like $30." So they sold it back, and then they're like, "Oh, cool, here's your money." And he's like, "How many? Like, can I get more packs instead of
Oh
money?"
my god, that's the gambling addiction hitting you right
And
there.
then they just like get left with like no money. They just literally, I'm like, "Oh, this is actually genuinely starting that gambling addiction young." Like it was like a
Yep.
fever of just they spent their entire birthday money. But it's also maybe a little bit of a flaw of the parent. But part of it is like if the kid is having fun, does it matter what they're spending their money on? But at the same time, is it really a good idea to teach your kids to literally just start handing out hundreds? Like literally, they had like grandma probably gave them $100, and they spent $100 bill in 2 minutes gambling at a card store, and then
Yeah.
walked
This actually
away.
reminds me. I have a hot take. I have quite the hot
Hmm.
take. It's okay to give money as a gift. I'm just
Oh
gonna
no, it's
say
a
it.
great take.
Yes, I believe. We accept gift cards.
Gift
I'm
cards are
fine if
trash.
you give me straight up money.
Gift cards are way worse than money, especially
Yes.
if they're like to restaurants or like fast food chains. Because the amount of times I've gotten like someone's giving me like a Wendy's gift card, I'm never going to remember that I have that. I'm never going to go to
Yeah.
Wendy's. I'm not going to like make it a point to go to Wendy's now to use your gift card that I will forget that I have. And if it's like $10 on it, I'm going to get like a fry at Wendy's now because fast food is insanely expensive.
Yeah, and it's always like I always forget I have it until it's expired.
Give me nothing. And
Give
I've had
me
people
nothing.
be mad at me. I told someone, well, I told a relative, I said, they gave me a gift card. Um, all right, here's the context because this is an am I the asshole
Mhm.
situation because I probably was
Am I
slightly in the
the
wrong.
asshole?
It was a close. So they gave me. I was in a shop with them, and they're like, "Oh, for your birthday, I want to buy you a kitchen appliance or something." When I'm with you, I want to see you get it. I'm like, okay. I mean, you don't have to get me anything, but whatever. If you're gonna get me something, cool. So we're in the store, and we didn't see anything. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll just get it some other time, something like that. So we were in checkout, and that person bought me a gift card to that store, and I was like, what are you doing? Well, just Venmo me it. If you want to give me money, just give me it in some other way. I'm never gonna remember to use this gift card. And then they got upset. They're like, oh, you're being ungrateful that I gave you this gift card. And then I'm saying, I
Oh
didn't want
god.
anything to begin with, but if you
Classic.
wanted to give me something, then you could do like, don't give me anything. Keep the gift card. I don't even want anything. But since you made it a point to give me something, can you at least give me something in a way that I would prefer rather than some.
It,
Now you've given me a side quest. You've given
it,
me a chore.
a
I
side
don't want to do that.
quest.
I will never remember. You've wasted money. You just gave me $50 that I will forget,
Oh my
and it's
god.
just into the ether.
And
And we were checking. Yeah.
and I think there are two parts about it that are worse. First of all, the method in which you prefer to get money is actually easier. And
Oh no, it is.
second of all, gift cards are taxed.
Yeah.
It
So
literally
okay,
costs less.
this is the time. This is when gift cards are good, right? I give gift cards in if I have younger relatives, I give them Steam gift cards because that's what they like, and it's good because kids don't have credit cards, so it's actually nice to have currency like that.
Yeah.
And Steam is easy, just apply it. Or Amazon. Amazon gift cards fine too. It's
Yeah,
just you
Amazon gift
apply
cards
it,
are cool.
whatever.
Like, sheesh, I order something off of Amazon like every week. Like, it would be so nice to have an Amazon gift card.
Yeah, it'll get used eventually. It's just things like, oh, I got an Olive Garden gift card. Like, when am I going there? Like,
Yeah, like are you taking me to Olive Garden, and are you basically paying in advance? Like what are you doing here?
yeah, that is my preferred way of giving gifts. I give little treats now. I give people like, oh, here's like some candy you like, plus like basically here's like three consumable things you like. And they're usually like, oh, I love this. And then they can eat it at the event. You know what I mean? Like at Christmas. You can be like, oh, cool. I got whatever, I'll eat this. And then I do experiences. So I'm like, oh, let me take you to this nice place and I'll pay for your meal, or let me get you a trip somewhere for like a night, or like, experience. That's pool your gifts with other people to do an experience rather than getting someone like 15 things they're never going to use. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like the gift giving meta has gotten so stupid.
I had
Like
to. All right. Speaking of the meta, right? Well, actually, look, I've been talking. I've been rambling. I feel like you were on a point there. Go
yeah,
ahead.
so I feel like it's become so stupid because people either will not tell you what they want directly, or if you're the person saying what you want directly, the other person will get mad that it's not something better.
Hmm.
And I feel like, listen, the economy is in shambles. We're all poor. Why are we so concerned about like all the complex of the gift giving? Just give me something basic. I don't care. Like
I think.
legitimately, I think, and this might sound like kind of privilege. I think compared to people in like the 1900s, right? We generally speaking have the things we need. Most of
Hmm.
these gifts are wants. Like you used to be able to say like, oh, this person doesn't have a broom. Like sheesh, get
I
him a
don't know about
broom.
this.
Get
I
him a
don't know
broom.
about. I think we've been a far away enough from like we're not giving people like, oh, you need a paper towels. Here's
Oh
that
no,
for
I'm saying
Christmas.
like it used to be like that.
I don't know. I don't know what like. I think it's always been kind of like goofy gifts. I think the adult
I'm not
meta.
saying like goofy. I'm saying like things that are like actually like I can't believe you lived without this.
Oh, like a toaster or something.
Yeah,
I
yeah, like
guess
things like that. Like not a broom. I guess is a bad example, but like yeah, like
like an
I feel
appliance.
like generally speaking, people unless you are like a specimen, I think people generally have the essentials, right? Like you could literally, I could go on Google right now if I were to buy an apartment. I'd say like, hey, like what do I need for to like survive in an apartment? And like Google would tell me like, you're like, yeah, here's how you get them cheap. It's like, okay, cool. But like I don't know. I feel like we're very past the basic needs thing. So like everything people ask for, it's usually something extra, or they usually just want money.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think here's what happened. Here's an example of what you're saying. We used to do a Secret Santa swap that
Hmm.
was just it was a formal Secret Santa where you would get assigned a person, and an hour Secret Santa it was you would list your top three things, so you would at least give someone an idea of what to get, and it was like a
Yeah.
$20 limit. Everyone's number one choice was $20 Amazon gift card. So it
Yep.
got to the point in which you would go to the Secret Santa swap and you would hand someone a $20 Amazon gift card and they would hand you a $20 Amazon gift card. And that's what we canceled it because it literally became everyone just did that and like what are we doing?
Yeah, it's like, what are we doing
Um
here? We're actually all losing money.
yes, we're Amazon is the only winner at this Secret Santa.
Oh my god.
Um So, but the new meta, I think the new it's been around forever, but the like white elephant, Yankee swap, etc., whatever you want to call it, gift exchange, that is the new meta for sure. Like I've been a part of those now, and it's actually nice because everyone gets one thing, and you only have to buy one thing, and I think that is the optimal. It's
Wait,
optimal.
so how does it work exactly?
Basically you all draw numbers and you everyone buys one gift that is in the
Hmm.
center and that's wrapped and you don't know what it is, and then you draw numbers and the person with the lowest number I think goes, or the highest number, either lowest or highest number goes, I think it's the highest number goes first,
Hmm.
and then they pick up the present and then they get to open it, and then eventually the next person gets to steal that open present or open a new one, and there's like stealing involved, etc.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
What
it's kind
is
of fun. Like
what?
you get to like steal and like swap, and
What is this,
it's kind of
baseball?
no, you can like swap presents and stuff. I mean, it's kind of
Uh,
like stupid. Some people do it stupid and they just do like joke presents where it's like I got a box of like lead, just like a paint, a bucket of paint. Like but like if you actually
yeah.
try to in good faith get like a decent $20 present, then it's pretty good because you can get something like like the thing for $20 is I usually do like a adult kind of card game, like a Cards Against Humanity type game, because they're usually around that, and that's a good like people will actually use that. And I got like a
Yeah.
mug. I got like a mug set that had two mugs and like some hot chocolate. I'm like, this is just pleasant. This
Hmm.
is nice. Like it's not like stupid, and or like someone got like popcorn set, and it's like, yeah, this is a nice little thing, and you didn't have to like try to think of a gift for every single person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the popcorn sets, those are good.
Yeah, popcorn. Someone got like a big beef jerky box of like assorted jerky flavors, and it's like, yeah, I think honestly, consumables is the way to go.
Yeah,
For gift swap stuff.
IRL
Just
consumables are pretty good. Not
just
the in-game ones though.
give someone candy or something. Make like cookies. I don't know. Just
Yeah.
that's like the way to go. Kids go all out. I like shopping for younger relatives and stuff. I just get them like ridiculous stuff. Especially some of them are into the gaming stuff, so I'm like, oh yeah, I will literally just buy you like a gaming monitor and stuff. I'm like, I will live vicariously through you. I'll give you like I'll whatever. I'll spend whatever money I would have spent on myself. I'll be like, here, just get this. Go for
Yeah.
it, chief.
Yeah, I actually don't have like young relatives anymore, or at least not ones that I'm like in contact with.
Hmm.
Because the only young relatives I've had, it was like when I was like 14, they were 7 or something like that. And now there's like, and now they'd be like what, 17, almost 18.
Yeah. Well,
It's
it's
like,
nice.
damn.
I think they're only going to be young for a couple Christmases, and like it's kind of fun to get some like neat things for people.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. I think I've hit the adult stage of like it is. I think the most fun you can have. Christmas is very stressful at this age of like trying to find stuff for people, but it is still fun to shop for toys and things for kids and then see them open it and be like excited about it. So that is the
Hmm.
one nice thing about the stress that is like, oh my god, they're gonna like it. Like I gotta get all this stuff. You know.
Hmm. Oh, also, so probably last thing, because we're over an hour. But
Hmm.
how much of your shopping is like in person versus online? I'm actually really curious about this.
So my classic move now is I start shopping online in like November, sort of.
Hmm.
So I would say a majority of my main shopping is online, especially because a lot of my gifts are like, okay, I know what I want to get, and it's like one thing. You know what I mean? I don't have to get
Hmm.
like if I'm getting a gift for someone, and it was like one year I got someone like AirPods or something, and like that's like a big gift, and that's all they
Hmm.
got basically. It's like this is the big gift. I don't need to get a bunch of smaller gifts. Like that was a pretty big gift.
Yeah.
Um, and but for my parents and other relatives and stuff, I they don't like anything, so I get them gift bags, and I do like here's a treat one, treat two, treat three, card, gift card or something. So
Hmm.
that's where I go to the stores. I actually have to go to a couple stores still. But I also think the
Yeah.
strat is pretty much the day like Christmas Eve or like the day before Christmas Eve. That's the fun time to kind of like go to a mall and just kind of walk around just to see like pick up little knickknacks. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's my meta. I think is like get the big stuff online and then kind of like shop around. Be like, oh look, there's like a heated blanket. Like that'll be kind of a fun stocking stuffer kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Like for me, I would say the vast majority of my shopping is online. It's partially influenced by the fact that I don't have a car at the moment.
Yeah, that would
Um,
do it. Yeah.
but yeah, I think like I'm from like late November to early December, or basically from like Black Friday to like maybe like December 10th, or actually this year it's till December 14th. I'm just like looking at Amazon, and like I'll generally get like archetypes, right, for like things that people generally want. Like I'm at the point where I'm just getting people things that are like convenient. Like I have these gloves that you can use on like touchscreens, like your iPhone and stuff.
Hmm.
And so I just got those for a couple people. And then there's some people that it's like every year I'm just like, oh, you get a tie because like you like dressing up, you get a tie. I'm not a tie guy, but you are tie.
Yeah. I like that. That's the thing. Well, I would overthink it though. I'd be like, oh, they like ties, but what if they don't like it, or I don't know. But
I don't think about
yeah,
that too much. I
yeah,
so like
just go for it.
my thing is even if it's a tie that I think they won't like, there is a chance, like years from now, that this tie could fit perfectly with the suit that they get.
Yeah. Well, and
Right?
also
Like
tech.
inevitably.
In addition to the meta, added tech that I've discovered, of course, include the receipt. That's tech. You got to include if on certain things, like gift cards, 100%. You got to include that receipt just in case there's problems.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Certain other things, if you're unsure if they're gonna like it, include the receipt.
Yeah,
Give them a
that's
little.
interesting because I used to my mom used to always tell me like don't include the receipt because you don't want them to know how much you've spent. But yeah,
That's
I
true.
definitely see the include the receipt angle.
It depends on the person and depends on what the object is. If it's
Yeah.
something for like your parent and you think that they're like not going to use it, I think that's a good time to include the receipt. If it's something for like Uncle Bob, just wing it. Unless it's a gift card. I think gift card you always want to include the receipt because I got a gift card and it didn't work. And I called up and they're like, "Yo," Amazon's like, "Yeah, we just can't do anything. Sorry." I'm like, "Okay." It's like another reason not to buy gift cards because
Man.
like they just didn't work. I'm like, "Great,
Yeah.
you could have just given me money if you wanted to give me." And that's such a like hard opinion to like defend because it makes you sound like such a jerk. You're like, "Oh, you could have just given me money. You have to give me a gift card." But I think it comes down to the just don't give me anything. That's fine too. But if you want to get me something in a more convenient way for both of us. But I don't know. It's a
Yeah.
hard thing to
I
defend without sounding like
I feel like that's the
entitled.
kind of thing that like the second or third time it happens, they'll understand, I think.
Oh, it happened to that person a second time. So they kept buying gift cards at this one location,
Hmm.
and they were giving gift cards. I received one, it didn't work, and they gave one to another person, and they felt embarrassed to say something because it didn't work. But I told them about it not working, and they're like, "Wait, that didn't work either." So then we told this person, like, stop buying gift cards from this place. They don't work. How long have you been doing this? How many gift cards have you given that have not worked? It's maybe someone was running a scheme where they were just like
Man.
using the gift cards or something. Like, I don't know. There's
Wait,
just something
actually that
off.
reminds me. When I was a kid, on Xbox Live, since since obviously I didn't have access to my parents' credit card, um this is actually me and my brother. We both put in random codes for Microsoft points and hope that we just
Oh my
ripped off
god.
somebody's gift card.
Oh, I have a dark. I have a. Okay, here's my. I want. This is a little secret tip that I don't even know if I want to tell this because this might be. I will tell it because I already kind of got all my Sims 3 codes. This is a little Sims 3 codes tip or Sims 2 older Sims
Tips
games.
and tricks.
So Sims 3, the DLC. I had a quest to get all the DLC for really cheap.
Hmm.
Now there is one. There's a couple ways to do that. There's one on eBay. You can go to gray market key sellers who like buy games in cheaper regions. That's kind of scummy. That's not even scummy, I guess, if in terms of like how you think about that ethically. But
Hmm.
that's like a shady way of doing it.
Yeah.
The fun way of doing it is so Sims 3 and also some Blizzard games do this too. So check it out.
Hmm.
Um, the games used to come in computer cases and they still do like computer game like jewel cases,
Hmm.
and if you open them they have a code. Now that code is like the product key that was used to register the game. Now a lot of game systems recognize that people have these old games but they've moved on to new things. Like BattleNet is now like merged into like a new thing, and the
Yeah.
Sims is like the same thing. So they actually reset access to all of those old codes so they actually still work now.
Oh.
So when I go to thrift stores, I bought Diablo 2 with the DLC for like $1 and then used the
Hmm.
code and it just worked. So I just have that on my Blizzard account. Um, and for Sims 3 DLC, it would sometimes it wouldn't work. All right, now here's the double scumbag method. I would
Hmm.
buy the game because I would check to see if the disc doesn't matter. You need the code. I would check to see if the
Yeah.
code was in the case, and I would buy the game.
Hmm.
You don't technically you could just take a picture of the code and be a scumbag, but I would spend the $1 to buy the game, not be a jerk.
Hmm.
Now, most of those, I would say 90% of the time, the codes worked. So I would just be sitting on piles of Sims 3 DLC um, for essentially free, and it was part of the thrill of the hunt.
The
Now, I
thrill of the
developed
hunt.
an even crazier method that involved looking up Sims 3 reviews on Steam before like 2012 or something. Like look up early Steam Sims 3 reviews because it would be some like young kid with a camera and they would open up their game cartridge, like they would open up their game box and show the code on screen without realizing it.
Oh my god.
But it was from like 12 years ago, so they're probably not using it. So it was the hunt of looking through videos and then finding the code in the videos and trying to see if it would work still. And I think I don't think I ever used them, but I just wanted to see if it would work. And some of them I think did work. So it was just this crazy like chase game of like going through the archives of videos from like 18 years ago and finding a code that probably hasn't been touched, and doing that. So that was like a weird. If you have a lot of time on your hands, you could maybe find free keys for Diablo or Blizzard games or Sims DLC. I think we should end here because we're over
Yeah.
time.
It's a good thing to end it on.
Yeah. All right. I've been Matt, aka Matt Fondude. Who are you?
I've been James, aka James04E.
And that's been a podcast. Good night, everybody.